Would I be the a-hole if I started forcing my teen son to go to the bathroom before his sister has a bath? My daughter 13 has severe endometriosis, to the point where she has been given morphine in the hospital. One thing that really helps her is hot baths, burning hot, to the point where she's pink when she finally climbs out. She will sit in there for hours some days, but is happy to get out for us to use the bathroom once the pain has eased off some. My son 15 has ADHD and is bad at grasping his own bodily needs until the last minute. Every time she asks to get in the bath, I run by him and ask if he needs the toilet, at which point he says no. Then, every single time, he will bang on the toilet door because he's desperate for the toilet. My daughter struggles to get in and out of the bath for the first hour while she's calming down, trying to relax herself. This leads to one of two situations: she drags herself out, sobbing, and then he cries because he feels bad, or he ends up peeing in the yard, or the kitchen sink, which I don't like, per se, or the one time where I yelled at him over it and he wet himself through holding it too long, which was even worse for my daughter as she had to wait longer then. I feel bad for both of them, but even the wet pants issue isn't enough to get him to pay more attention. The last couple of times I've tried to force him to go to the bathroom and he's gotten angry because he's not a little kid. I get it, his teachers and things treat him incapable because of his bathroom issues, but it's still not fair for him to continue disrupting his sister or pissing down my drains and in my plants. I feel like in a hole regardless, but would physically forcing him through threats put me in that category indefinitely? Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids? My 24 female sister 29 female is in a tight spot. She has two kids, Ashley 6 and Matt 4. Her husband passed away in a work-related accident. I won't go into much detail, but she got quite some money for his life insurance and there's some other legal issues going on and maybe she'll get more money out of it. Prior to the accident she was a sahole, but now, for obvious reasons, she needs to get a job. I don't have a regular job, so I'm free most days. While she asked me to babysit for her kids during the days, she said she'll pay me whatever I want. She said she found something that will pay her well and she'll be able to keep their house and lifestyle, and save the other money for her kids' future emergencies. I told her that I don't want to be a babysitter and to ask someone else. She told me that no one else can because her in-laws live in another state. Our brother and sister-in-law work too, and both our parents also have jobs. Basically, I'm the only one who's free during the days. I told her in that case she should send them to daycare, but she said that the kids aren't that well since the accident and she would prefer if they can be babysat for family, at least for a couple months until they can get used to the idea of losing their dad. Lastly, she told me if I could at least babysit for her in the morning. Then our mom agreed to cut some hours so she can babysit during the afternoon. I told her that what they're going though is very sad, but I stood my ground about not babysitting. That's simply not what I want now. I told her that was the final answer and to stop calling me over that because I won't change my mind. She cried and called me in a hole. She went on and on about how hard her life is and such. She said that her kids cry all the time because of their dad and they need family now and how I should help her when I can. I told her that her kids are not my responsibility. She can ask, but I already said no, so she should drop it. Now everyone in my family is angry at me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I am free most days because I work some nights. I don't work full-time. However, that's not relevant. I don't pull all-nighters. I get home quite early. My job is not the reason I don't want to babysit. The reason why I don't want to help her is simply because I don't want to. I could babysit if I would want to, but I don't. Am I the a-hole for telling my youngest daughter that she either has to give up her room or keep her cat in her room at night? Some backstory: whenever my mother-in-law visits, my wife always insists that one of the kids give up their room for her. It's usually my oldest 17 or youngest 14 for a couple reasons, but this time my wife decided that our middle daughter 16 will be giving up her room no matter what. My youngest also has a cat that my middle daughter is scared of. My wife recently told the kids that my mother-in-law is coming to stay with us for 6 weeks, and announced that it's our middle daughter's turn to give up her room. My middle daughter complained, but I talked to her about it and tried to come up with a compromise, and I tried to get my wife to agree that one of our older kids' rooms would be better for a few reasons. First, our middle daughter's room is not near a bathroom. Mother-in-law gets up multiple times at night, and she just hurt her ankle. Second, middle daughter's room is big enough that we could put an air mattress for one of the other kids. Our oldest daughter's room isn't big enough for that, and our youngest daughter has a cat that middle is afraid of, so she can't sleep in there. There's also the issue that I strongly think our middle daughter might be autistic, and any change in routine is hard for her. Then I said that if our middle daughter sleeps on the couch, our youngest daughter has to keep the cat in her room at night. My youngest daughter refused because the cat will wake her up and want to play, but I told her it's fair for middle to not want the cat harassing her while she sleeps, and that she either keeps the cat in her room or she gives mother-in-law her room. My wife and youngest are saying this is unfair and I'm just trying to get Middle out of giving up her room, but I truly think this is a fair compromise. Middle will give up her room as long as the cat is away from her at night. I told Middle if they keep the cat out at night, I will take her to sleep at my parents' house every night, until my mother-in-law leaves, but my wife is refusing that too because her mom is already upset that Middle likes my parents better. My parents have lived a half-mile from her until she was born. Mother-in-law lives across the country, and that this will make her think Middle is sleeping there to get away from her. Am I the a-hole for saying either my youngest gives up her room, keeps the cat in her room, or my Middle sleeps at my parents' house while my mother-in-law is here? Edit. I wanted to say that. I had no idea mother-in-law would be staying for that long until my wife announced it to the kids. I do not agree with the kids giving up their rooms, especially for that long, but that's for another post. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to take my wife's photos? My wife and I have been married for 1 year, and we've been together for about 7. An argument that recurs frequently, especially when we're on vacation, centers around her desire to take multiple photos, and my absolute disdain for being the person who has to take all of them. Here's how it typically plays out. We visit a new place, she immediately asks me to take her picture. I oblige, but then she berates me if the picture is ugly or if she thinks I made little attempt to take a good picture. So then I have to take another photo. She reviews, and the process repeats until she's satisfied. Personally, I've never been big on taking photos while on vacation, and I have not traveled a lot internationally. I like to be in the moment, take in the whole sight, and get lost in my thoughts. However, I feel like I have to interrupt this experience multiple times to take her pictures or get into a selfie with her, then I lose out on the experience because all of a sudden a photo takes precedence. In the past, I've snapped a quick picture with little effort to get back to what I was there to do, experience something new. After getting called out multiple times for my low effort, I now attempt to take a good picture or at least listen to her instructions so that I get the picture to her liking. But recently, she's called my pictures ugly, even when I've made an attempt to take good photos. This results in me taking dozens of pictures in the same place, of the same person, with the same backdrop, until she is satisfied or until I lose patience and tell her I'm done. Moreover, she's even gotten upset with me for posting a picture of her to social media that she didn't like, even though I actually thought the picture looked good. My wife is naturally gorgeous, physically, but I don't need a good picture to show that. I'd like to consider myself a creative, and sometimes I just like a good candid picture of her eating an ice cream or fixing her glasses. But let me unwittingly share said photo on social media, and a whole argument ensues. I think the whole situation is stupid. IMO photographs are an afterthought, a tool, not the main objective. I want to see new things and experience new people. I have little desire to take pictures beyond what I need to remember the moment, or to capture something aesthetically pleasing. I know it's reasonable to want pictures of yourself, but at some point the whole exercise becomes excessive. IMO that point is when the pictures began to distract from the whole purpose we're there, to see and experience something new. My wife and I are currently in Italy, sitting silently in a hotel room, because I objected to her 20th-something selfie in front of the Colosseum. It's raining and I wanted to move to the next site. We had already taken many photos together in front of the Colosseum. Am I the a-hole?